Hi everyone, I'm Tim.
I'm Kat.
So this is the August news update and viewer question and answer video. We don't have a lot of news this time, but there's a couple of items that might be of interest. At the end, we're also going to have a little bonus section, so look out for that one. To start with, shall we do the news?
Let's do the news. Well, I think the first big news was that we went to Give Energy, which a lot of you will probably know because hopefully you might have seen the video that Tim did about that.
Yeah, I think the video's been quite popular. I think it's been a lot of interest for quite a lot of viewers on this channel and maybe other people as well. That was a really interesting visit. We took our Fiat 500e up the motorway. It's about a 2-hour drive from where we live. So we're down in Gloucestershire, and Give Energy HQ is in it's actually Newcastle under Lyme, which is next to Stoke-on-Trent basically. So it's just up the M5 and M6. We took the EV and
did another public charge.
Did a little public charge.
I don't think you need to see another video on us doing that one, but that was all very smooth.
Yeah. What was it? It was just a car park in an Asda, was it? Can't remember, or a Morrison's. One of those. I think it was a Morrison's.
No, Morrison's. Yeah, you're right. It was Morrison's. And it had a Costa, so.
Yeah, so we just stopped for a drink before. We were a little bit early, so we thought that we'd take the opportunity to have a little drink and a snack before we went into the Give Energy HQ. The visit was really good.
Yeah, felt kind of weird to be.
Yeah, well, it's not really something
being shown around. Yeah,
it's not something we've ever done before. Obviously, this channel is very much just kind of us talking at the camera like we're doing now, or me just showing something on the computer or whatever. So doing an in-person chat, we didn't really know how to go about it. So I think if we were to do anything like that in the future, we'd probably do it a little bit differently. I'd certainly take more footage because I only took literally a few seconds here and there.
I think we felt a bit awkward trying to sort of take too much, or I don't know. It was, but it was really good.
Yeah,
the guys were really lovely.
Yeah, it was just like a nice little chat, really. Pretty chill. Really interesting to see sort of behind the scenes, and super excited to see where Give Energy go in the future in terms of expansion. They've got big plans and all that, as I explained in the video.
I really hope their future as a company is as exciting as it seems it's going to be.
Yeah, well, not least because we got many thousands of pounds worth of their products installed in our house, so I hope they survive for a little while.
But they seem like a company with, I don't know, a good ethos. So
we had some pretty positive vibes from the visit. So I mean, it felt very genuine and they're just normal people like everyone else. We shall see what the future brings. Looking forward to seeing what they come up with in the next few years. So that'll be interesting.
So that was that.
What else we got?
We then have one of the last little bits of having had the gas.
What?
The gas. Having had the gas cut off.
Yeah.
Apparently, I can't speak today.
Yeah.
This is not going well.
It's all fine.
Having had the gas cut off was that our towel rails. Were no longer functional.
No.
So we needed to find a way to electrify them.
Yeah, so this is all part of the plan. I mean, if any of you have watched the sort of our previous videos about the air-to-air heat pump system and our plans for getting off gas, one of the main disadvantages of the air-to-air system is that it doesn't cover things like the wet rooms, the en-suites and the bathrooms and such. So the towel rails that we've currently got in those rooms were previously powered by the central heating system. But that's obviously now disconnected because there's no gas coming into the house, which means that those rooms are technically not heated at all. And during the summer, that's fine, obviously. The towels have been drying on their own, no problem. But now that, we're rapidly approaching September, and I'm pretty sure within the next few weeks we're going to have to start putting the towel rails on. Last month, I think I mentioned that we'd got a quote from a local company to come and remove.
Well, we had a date for them to come and
give us a quote
to get the work done.
To get the radiators removed, the towel rails disconnected, and the boiler removed as well. But that was going to be, basically it's this coming week, basically, I think Tuesday or Wednesday this week. So it was going to be ages, and I thought, well, you know what? I'll just give it a go. I'm not going to obviously remove the boiler. I'm not an idiot, but the towel rails, I reckoned I could disconnect those myself. So I just drained down the central heating system, got rid of all the water from all the radiators and everything else. That's I mean it's a slightly awkward process, but managed to get that done, so that's fine.
Okay.
So once everything was drained down, I got some immersion inserts for the towel rails. They're about this long, so I'm wondering whether or not it's worth bothering with a dedicated video for that. So if it's the sort of thing you're interested in me showing, I can go through that.
Because at least you did look at a few different options of, maybe even replacing the towel rails or a few things before we just decided, look, let's just keep the towel rails and get
so
these
ultimately what I decided
elements.
was just put a basic immersion element in there, run the cables through the wall into the wardrobes, basically, because the other side of the wall we've got fitted wardrobes, and inside the fitted wardrobes are a couple of power sockets designed for televisions that you'd put in your wardrobe for some
Which
reason.
we don't have.
I'm sure people enjoy doing that sort of thing, but we don't have anything plugged into those. So I thought, well, I'll just run a cable through the back of the wardrobes and plug it in there.
Yeah, and you did our one to see how that worked.
So as a trial, I did the one in our bedroom, and I got some more of the Give Energy smart plugs. So I've just got those plugged into the towel rail plugs into the smart plugs, which plugs into the wall, and which means I can basically set up a schedule. So I was able to get the most basic immersion heater, but we've still got a scheduler that we can set up on a timer or whatever, so that the towel rails can come on for half an hour in the morning or however long we want.
So you've tested it, we've not used it.
No, so I've
in
not,
anger because it's not been cold enough.
But that went pretty well. So I've rolled that out to the other 2 towel rails that we needed to do that with. So I've just got to do a little bit of extra wiring for the one in the bathroom. But so if anyone's interested in the process of what I did to go through all that,
if you really want more detail on that one, then
let me know,
Tim will make a video,
and I can make a video about that. So that's one step closer to getting the house sort of fully operational. The only thing left to do, well, we're still debating whether or not to do anything about the 2 spare bedrooms that don't have heating.
I genuinely don't think
because we use them so rarely in the winter when we've got guests over. We might use them maybe 2 or 3 times over the winter.
And the few times we've done that, we've put a fan heater in there and it's been fine. I really can't see that we want anything more complicated than that. It works.
Yeah, it's just a bit more, I don't know, a bit more convenient perhaps to have a radiator in there. But anyway, that's to be decided. It's definitely not high priority.
No.
But that's essentially it. We've essentially done everything that we need to do. The only other thing that I'd like to do is replace the hot water tank with a heat pump hot water cylinder. So actually one video I am planning on doing in the near future is a sort of the various options around how you would heat your hot water if you've got an air-to-air heat pump system that doesn't do your hot water for you. What are your options? So that's something that I think some people might be interested in. So that's something I'm planning on doing maybe next month. If I get
Depends what else comes up.
Depending what else comes up.
You always plan these and something else comes up that needs a video.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, so that's coming hopefully soon. But yeah, if you want to see the towel rail thing, then let me know. I'll whip up a real quick video for that, maybe in the next couple of weeks. Otherwise, I wasn't really planning on doing a video for that. But if it's something that's interesting to people, then let me know.
Yeah.
Oh, this is related also, by the way, to one of the questions we had. So just so you know, we're gonna circle back to this in a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fairly shortly, because there's only one really last bit of news.
Yeah, it's not really news.
It's not really news. It's more of a comment on
it's a
comments.
sort of public service announcement, basically. So while preparing the looking for questions that people have asked for this video, I went back through all of the comments for the last month or so through YouTube, and I noticed that there were a handful that YouTube hadn't told me about. So generally speaking, so I use their sort of, what's it called, the Studio app on my phone, and that tells me when I get comments on the videos, which allows me to respond to those, and then it also tells me when I get responses to the comments that I've posted in reply to other people. So I know when people have replied to my.
So it should be an easy way to keep on top of it all.
So, and generally speaking, it works pretty well. However, I noticed today that there were a handful that YouTube had not notified me about, which meant that there's been these comments sat there for in a couple of cases a couple of weeks old. which I hadn't seen before and hadn't responded to. So if that was you, I'm very, very sorry. I just didn't spot your comments because YouTube didn't tell me about them.
No. And I've noticed it on my cross-stitch YouTube channel as well. I've had the odd one. I haven't seen. It just doesn't tell me. So yeah, that's a bit frustrating.
So yeah, I do my best to try and keep on top of the comments, but every now and again one or two will slip through the cracks. So very sorry if I miss one of your replies or comments on the channel. So if that happens and it's been like more than a week or so, just give me a nudge and hopefully YouTube will tell me about it. So yeah, it's just one of those weird. I don't know why YouTube forgets about these comments, but they were there. I could see them, and I could see that I hadn't responded to them.
Yeah, it's not held them because they're dodgy or anything. It's just it just doesn't show you.
No, just one of those weird things. Anyway, enough about the news. Let's move on to the
questions. Okay, question.
One question. One question.
Thank you, from Ian, who said, "Have we considered an electric boiler for the rooms not heated by the air-to-air system?"
Yes. So this is a very good question. So this came through on email, by the way. So I mentioned in the previous video that if you were more comfortable contacting us by email in order to ask a question, please do that, and you don't need to necessarily leave a comment. But if you would like to ask us a comment, you can either use put it in the comments below this video, or you can email us using the contact page under the About tab, which you'll find on desktop. It doesn't work on mobile for some reason, but use a desktop and you should be able to find our email address and email us any questions you have. But yeah, this is a good question. So as mentioned before, one of the limitations of the air-to-air heat pump system that we've got is that a couple of the rooms don't have the internal units that we use for the heating, and especially the wet rooms don't have any heating. So I've obviously got those covered now for the towel rails. But Ian mentioned something very interesting, which was the use of a small electric boiler that would basically replace the existing gas boiler, but be quite low rated and only plumbed into the radiators that we don't in the rooms that we don't have the air-to-air heat pump system in. And I thought that, well, actually, you know what? That's actually a very good idea, except for the fact that we really don't use those rooms very much, so we would not need something as kind of expensive to install as an electric boiler, because I think the lowest power rating you can get is 4 kilowatts electric boiler, something like that. Okay. And realistically, we don't need anywhere near that amount of power, especially if, for the most part, we're literally only running our towel rail, which would be the case for the vast majority of the time. So I decided ultimately to go with just the immersion inserts, which I can run. So those are about 400 watts. 400 watts for the one that's in our ensuite, 300 in the other two wet rooms. So we could have those on for half an hour to an hour, and it's very little energy used for those. Whereas with an electric boiler, the hot water then obviously has to run through all the pipes in the house and everything else, which would result in some losses along the way. Whereas in the towel rail, the immersion heater is just completely self-contained, so there wouldn't be any kind of water running through any pipes anywhere. So I think it's slightly more efficient doing it the way we've done it, and a lot cheaper which is the main point. So that's what I decided to do in the end, just for simplicity.
But if you had rooms that maybe got used a little bit more, then it might be a good option.
Well,
for us, it's just a usage versus cost thing.
Yeah.
But it could be useful for people who've got rooms that they're using a little bit more often. Maybe not all the time rooms, but certainly more often.
If we had kids or something, and those rooms were actually getting used as bedrooms, they would want to be heated. But I think if we'd done it that way, we'd probably have done another internal unit.
Well, I was going to say, if they use that much, I'm trying to think of it somewhere where it's not rooms that you would use all the time, like bedrooms for kids and stuff. But I don't know. Say you had someone who routinely stayed with you fairly regularly,
every weekend,
every sort of 2 or 3 weeks, even. That might be something where you might want it. So I could see there could be situations where it would be useful.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the main disadvantage of an electric boiler or even an immersion insert is that it's only a 100% efficient heating system, as opposed to the air-to-air or any other heat pump system, which would be 3 or 4 times as more efficient than that. So obviously it would still cost more to run, but for us just doing the towel rails, they're only going to be on for a few minutes, half an hour or an hour a day. so it's not going to cost us much to run those. So that was the compromise we made for having the air-to-air system. But I mean, I wouldn't change it because it's been really useful when the weather's got hot. Not that we've had loads of it this summer, but when it has got hot, especially in the office when it gets really warm in the morning, I've been very pleased to have the air-to-air cooling available to me. So I don't think I would have changed our minds based on that. So
No.
but yeah, it's definitely that is definitely one of the things to consider if you're deciding between air-to-air or air-to-water. You will have to compromise somewhere. So
we definitely made the right choice, but
I think so.
it will be different for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was really the only questions we had for this month. But yeah, if you have another question for us, please let us know, and we'll fold it into next month's.
Yes. And the other thing that came up that we were going to answer in this section was because you had a few comments.
Yes.
Similar comments, so we thought it might be useful to mention that.
Yeah.
Here.
So I've had a few questions about switching tariffs. So obviously during the summer when we've got plenty of solar generation, we're able to export quite a bit back to the grid. So being on a tariff with a high export rate, like Octopus Flux, for example, is really beneficial for us in the summer. In the winter, however, when we've got the heat pump system running for our heating, we're not going to have any excess to export back to the grid.
No.
So for our plan at the moment is to switch to something like Octopus Go, which would give us the ability to charge up our batteries during the off-peak period, and then use that for the heating and the rest of the house. Now I know that won't cover us in the coldest months. I've got videos about that if you're interested. But just as that still works out better for us, I think, than being on something like Flux. So that's the plan. That once we put the heating on, we'll be switching back to Go, which will probably be in October. Is my current best guess.
And with that in mind, you'd actually asked Octopus some time ago.
Yeah.
Is it okay? Can I switch back and forth?
Yeah. So exactly. So the plan would be effectively switch to Flux in April-ish and switch back to Go in October, November, maybe something like that, and keep doing that. Switching back and forth every 6 months or so. So I wanted to check if that was okay with Octopus. So I emailed them a few months ago and said, is this okay? And they said yes. So I was like, brilliant. But then I had some comments saying, oh, the terms and conditions say that you can't switch back to a particular smart tariff within 9 months. So, and that got me, I got a bit worried about that. I was like, oh, does that mean I'm not going to be able to do what I wanted to do? So I checked the terms and conditions, and it seems that actually the general terms and conditions for smart tariffs is that you can switch away from a smart tariff, but you can't switch back within 30 days. Now that's fine. That would be fine for us.
Yeah.
However, this commenter was partly correct in that the one smart tariff that this does apply to, this 9-month limit, is the what was it called? The tracker. The tracker tariff. So if you switch away from the tracker tariff, you can't switch back to the tracker tariff within 9 months. So that's something that's worth bearing in mind.
Yeah.
That thankfully isn't relevant for us because that's not a tariff that we're.
So we can still do what we want to.
Yeah.
But I also think it's useful to bear in mind if we're with Octopus, but if you're with another supplier and you're thinking about switching tariffs, because other suppliers do have tariffs, you may switch back and forth.
Yeah.
Again,
check
just
their
have
terms
a
and
check.
conditions to make sure that they'll let you do that, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. So definitely good with Octopus. But yeah, check if you're with another supplier and you're wanting to do something similar.
Yeah. So I think it's all fine for us.
Yeah.
And I'll certainly let you know if that turns out not to be the case.
We'll let you know when we decide to switch over.
Yeah.
We might be sitting here next month.
Yeah, I
telling
think
you
we'll
if
be
we
all right.
switched.
I think we'll be all right in September.
Yeah.
But I think October might be the time we need to switch. We shall have to see. It all depends on how much generation we get and whether we've got any excess and when we have to put the heating on. So time will tell. So are we going to do the bonus section? Would you like to explain what I mean by this bonus section?
Well, we have a very exciting new section, which is the cross-stitch section.
Any other business, should we call it?
Well, it's not just a cross-stitch.
Well, who knows?
section.
I mean, we could put anything.
Any other business is probably more appropriate. Don't run away. I'm not doing cross-stitch every time.
This is a
bit of a one-off.
This is quite impressive. So let Kat show you what she's managed to do in the last couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, I did all of this in the last couple of weeks.
She's finished this in the last couple of weeks.
But this has taken me nearly 4 years, so I am just going to share it with you because I'm quite pleased with myself.
Yeah, check this out, everyone.
So
this, what is this? Would you like to explain what this is?
This is a Heaven and Earth Designs. It is cross stitch. It's all tiny, tiny, tiny little stitches. 375,000 of them.
375,000 stitches.
Yes.
How long has it taken you, did you say?
Nearly 4 years. 3 years and 10 months.
Should we move it forward a bit so people can maybe get... I don't know if this is going to work or not. There you go.
You can probably see a
Just
bit.
to give you an idea, that's the sort of level of detail. But yeah. It's I mean, she's been working on this for so long.
Shall I put it down? Shall I stop hiding behind it now?
Yeah.
I'll stop hiding behind it. This has been my kind of focus cross stitch piece.
So this is the sort of thing Kat is usually doing when we're recording these videos. Something like this.
Not these chat ones so much, but some other ones I will be doing some.
Yeah. So
some stitching. I know you've probably seen a little bit, and very often smaller ones. But yeah, this one.
We've been taking photographs every 1% completion that Kat is going to cut together into a little reel.
Yep.
That will eventually go on Kat's YouTube channel.
Yes.
I'll put a link to Kat's channel in the chat
yep.
so that you can go and check that out if you want to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I started doing some more kind of behind the scenes videos on my cross stitch stuff as well. So yeah, it's been quite fun to do. Probably inspired by these videos. It got me thinking I should just do some more kind of ad hoc behind the scenes ones on my YouTube channel as well as the tips and tutorials. So that's been, it's been a lot of fun, and I'm going to do a video all about how I stitched this enormous project and pop in that little
I mean, it's
thing.
It's not exactly, energy related or anything, but Kat spent a lot of energy doing
use
this.
It as a blanket. If I
no,
someone did say, what are you going to do with it when you finish it? You could make it into a nice, blanket or quilt or something. It is going to get framed
and put up on the wall. We don't quite know exactly where because it's so big.
It's big.
Maybe we'll put it up. No, we can't.
I don't think you can put it up there.
But
anyway.
Yeah, we'll find a space somewhere.
Anyway. That's probably enough cross stitch for the.
Yeah, if you want to know more, go check out Kat's YouTube channel.
Yes, as you can tell, I'm just very proud of it. So
you should be. It's amazing.
For taking time to look at that.
So yeah, that's it for this month. Thank you very much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.
Bye bye.